She said, "I told my therapist everything wrong with you. She agrees you're the problem." I nodded. Interesting. Then I booked the next appointment slot and brought receipts. The therapist's recommendation wasn't what she expected. I, 31 male, was sitting at our kitchen table when my girlfriend Sienna, 29, dropped this bomb after her Thursday therapy session. "Dr. Reeves says you're showing all the signs of a covert narcissist," she announced, pulling out her phone to read from her notes. "Emotional unavailability, financial control, isolation tactics, and gaslighting. She's really concerned about me." I looked up from the electricity bill I was paying, along with rent, internet, groceries, and her car insurance. "That's interesting. What else did she say?" Sienna got this smug look. "She said I need to start setting boundaries with you. Maybe even consider a trial separation if you don't get help. Oh, and she thinks you should reimburse me for all the emotional labor I've done in this relationship." Emotional labor? Yeah, like having to constantly manage your moods, deal with your family, organize our social life. Dr. Reeves calculated it's worth at least $15,000 based on therapy industry standards. I just nodded. Wow, Dr. Reeves sounds very thorough. She's amazing. She really gets what I'm going through with you. Here's what Sienna didn't know. Our apartment security system backs up all footage to the cloud, including audio. For the past 3 months, I'd been cataloging everything because I was planning to leave. Not out of spite, I just knew something was off and wanted to protect myself. That night, I made a phone call. "Hi, I'd like to book an appointment with Dr. Reeves. The earliest available?" "Perfect. Yes, it's regarding relationship issues and some concerns about information that's been shared about me." The receptionist booked me for the following Tuesday. Apparently, someone had just canceled. I spent the weekend organizing my receipts, not just financial ones, actual receipts of our relationship. Bank statements showing I paid 87% of our expenses while Sienna worked part-time by choice. Text messages where she admitted to lying about being at work when she was at her ex's place. Video from our apartment of her throwing my laptop during an argument, then telling her friends I went crazy and broke things. Screenshots of her dating profile, active as of last week, where she listed herself as single and ready to mingle. Audio recording of her on the phone with her best friend Imogen saying, "I'm just staying until I save enough to move out." Plus his credit score is helping me get approved for that new apartment. Her Instagram DMs with some guy named Jasper, where she called me her roommate situation. Tuesday came. I walked into Dr. Reeves's office with a folder and a flash drive. Dr. Reeves looked surprised. "You're Sienna's partner?" "I am. I understand she's been discussing our relationship with you." "I can't discuss other patients. I'm not asking you to. I'm here because I've been told you've made some professional assessments about me based on information you've received. I thought you might want to see some documentation before making any formal recommendations." I placed the folder on her desk. "What is this?" "Evidence that every single thing Sienna told you about me is either heavily distorted or completely fabricated. I'm not here to diagnose her or ask you to break confidentiality. I'm here because my reputation and mental health are being damaged by false information." Dr. Reeves was professional. "I appreciate you coming in, but I need to maintain boundaries. Page 1 is a transcript of Sienna telling me yesterday that you diagnosed me as a covert narcissist and that I owe her $15,000. Page 2 is a recording transcript where she admits she's never actually told you my real name or job. She's been calling me Marcus and saying I'm unemployed. My name is Oliver. I'm an ICU nurse. Page 3 shows my actual work schedule for the past year, proving I wasn't home during several incidents she described." Dr. Reeves went quiet. She opened the folder. For the next 45 minutes, I walked her through everything. The financial abuse claims. I showed bank statements. The isolation tactics. I had screenshots of me encouraging her to go out with friends while she texted them saying I wouldn't let her. The gaslighting. I had video of her admitting to her sister that she was playing therapist mind games with me. The most damning evidence was a voice memo Sienna accidentally sent me where she was practicing her therapy story with Imogen. "Okay, so I'll tell her that he monitors my spending. Don't mention that I have his credit card. And I'll say he gets angry when I talk to other men. But skip the part about Jasper and the others. Oh, and I'll cry when I tell her about him yelling at me. She always believes me more when I cry. Dr. Reeves listened to the whole thing. Her face was carefully neutral, but I saw her jaw clench. "Mr. Oliver," she said finally, "I can't discuss what was or wasn't said in my sessions with another patient, but I want you to know that this information is significant. I take the integrity of my practice very seriously. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just wanted you to have accurate information." I left. 2 days later, Sienna came home from therapy looking shaken. "How was your session?" I asked. "Fine," she said quickly. Too quickly. "What did you talk about?" "Dr. Reeves wants to try a different approach. She said we need to focus on accountability and authentic communication." "That sounds good." The next week, Sienna was furious after therapy. "Dr. Reeves keeps asking me weird questions, like for specific dates and times of things, and she wants to know exact quotes from our conversations. It's like she doesn't believe me anymore. Maybe she's just being thorough?" She asked if I've ever used the name Marcus. Why would she ask that? I shrugged. No idea. Update 1. Holy crap, things escalated fast. So Sienna had another therapy appointment yesterday. She came home and immediately started packing her stuff. "Dr. Reeves says I need to take a break from the relationship," she announced. "Okay," I said. "Did she say why?" "She said I need to work on some personal issues, whatever that means." What Sienna didn't tell me, but I found out from Imogen, who can't keep a secret to save her life, was that Dr. Reeves had actually said something very different. According to Imogen, the session went like this. Dr. Reeves asked Sienna to bring in some evidence of my narcissistic behavior for documentation. Sienna couldn't produce anything. Then Dr. Reeves asked her to clarify some inconsistencies in her timeline. Sienna got flustered and changed her story 3 times in 10 minutes. Finally, Dr. Reeves apparently said, "I think we need to focus on why you feel the need to create false narratives about your partner. This is a pattern we need to address." Sienna lost it, accused Dr. Reeves of being manipulated by Oliver, and said she was going to report her to the board. Dr. Reeves calmly reminded her that making false reports to a licensing board is a crime. So now Sienna was moving out, but here's where the entitlement went supernova. She sent me a Venmo request for $8,500 with the note, "Moving expenses and emotional damages." I declined it. She sent it again. I declined it again and sent her $50 with the note, "For gas to move your stuff." She called me screaming that I was financially abusing her and that she would tell everyone what I did. What did I do? You turned my therapist against me. By telling the truth. You violated the sanctity of therapy. I went to therapy. Isn't that what you wanted? She hung up and started texting everyone we knew that I was dangerous and had stalked her to her therapist. The problem? Most of our friends already knew the real story. See, Sienna had been telling different lies to different people and they'd started comparing notes. Her work friends thought I was unemployed. Her family thought I was a doctor. Her gym friends thought we were polyamorous. Her college friends thought we'd broken up 6 months ago. My buddy Tobias runs a group chat with about 20 of our mutual friends. He screenshotted all the different stories she'd told about me and posted them side by side. The response was brutal. Wait, Oliver is somehow unemployed and controlling her with his money? She told me he was abusive, but also that he was too passive? Didn't she say they were engaged last month? Now they've been broken up since January? LMAO, she can't even keep her lies straight. Update 2. The entitlement escalation was unreal. After Sienna moved out to Jasper's place, shocker, she decided she was entitled to a bunch of stuff that was never hers. But she didn't just ask. She got creative. First, she tried to redirect my mail. I only found out because the postal worker knows me, small building, and asked if I was moving. I filed a complaint for mail fraud. Then she called my employer claiming to be my emergency contact and that I'd had a mental breakdown and needed extended leave. My supervisor called me confused as hell. "Oliver, your ex just called saying you're in a psychiatric hold. I'm literally standing in front of you right now." Yeah, that's why I'm confused. I had to file paperwork with HR to remove her from any association with my employment. But the peak entitlement came when she decided she deserved compensation for her therapy trauma. She actually created an itemized invoice. Therapy sessions ruined by Oliver's interference. $2,400. Finding new therapist, $500. Emotional damage from therapeutic betrayal, $5,000. Time spent moving out, $1,000. Lost relationship investment, $10,000. Having to explain situation to friends, $2,000. Total, $20,900. She sent this to me via certified mail with a note saying she'd take me to small claims court if I didn't pay within 30 days. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend Cordelia, who literally snorted coffee out her nose laughing. She wants you to pay her for lying to her therapist? This is gold. But Sienna wasn't done. She started seeing a new therapist and apparently told them I was stalking and harassing her. This new therapist, without verifying anything, sent me a cease and desist letter. I replied with my own lawyer's letter pointing out that 1. I hadn't contacted Sienna once since she moved out. 2. She had contacted me 73 times in the past week. 3. A therapist sending legal threats based on unverified claims could face serious professional consequences. That therapist backpedaled hard. Suddenly their letter was just a suggestion and not legally binding. Meanwhile, Dr. Reeves, through appropriate channels, had reported concerns to her supervisor about a patient who had been deliberately providing false information to manipulate therapeutic outcomes. She couldn't name names, but Sienna figured out it was about her and went ballistic. She actually showed up at Dr. Reeves's office demanding her therapy notes so she could prove the conspiracy. Those notes document your admitted fabrications. Are you sure you want copies? You can't write down lies about me. I wrote down what you told me. You're saying your own words are lies? Sienna tried to file a complaint with the board, but they required evidence. When she couldn't provide any, and they saw Dr. Reeves had extensive documentation, they dismissed it and warned Sienna about making false complaints. Update 3. This is where Sienna's entitlement collided with reality in the most satisfying way. Remember Jasper? The guy she was DMing while we were together? Well, turns out he thought Sienna was single the whole time. She'd told him I was just her controlling roommate who wouldn't move out. When he found out the truth, Imogen strikes again, girl cannot keep her mouth shut, he kicked her out. But not before she'd already signed a lease termination at her old place and burned bridges with most of her friends by asking to crash temporarily. So, where does an entitled person go when they're homeless? To mommy and daddy, of course. Except Sienna had told her parents we were engaged and that I was paying for her to go back to school. They were expecting wedding planning and graduation announcements. Instead, they got their daughter showing up with garbage bags full of clothes claiming I'd destroyed her life. Her dad, Ricardo, called me. Oliver, what happened? Sienna says you manipulated her therapist? Ricardo, did she tell you she was using therapy to create false documentation about me? She said you're lying about that. I have recordings of her admitting it. Would you like to hear them? Silence. Send them. I sent him the voice memo where she was practicing her lies with Imogen. 20 minutes later, he called back. We're getting her help. Real help. I'm sorry about all this, Oliver. But Sienna wasn't having it. When her parents confronted her, she accused them of taking my side because I'd bought them with my nurse money. Her mom, Beatrice, told me later that Sienna actually said, "You care more about him than your own daughter." Beatrice's response? "We care about you getting help for whatever this is." Sienna decided if her parents wouldn't support her, she'd find someone who would. She started a relationship advice blog called Surviving Narcissistic Abuse, where she posted our story, except heavily edited. In her version, I was unemployed and living off her money. I isolated her from friends and family. I stalked her to therapy and gaslit her therapist. She bravely escaped with nothing. The blog got some traction initially. A few people shared their own stories. Sienna started getting donations from sympathetic readers. Then, someone recognized the story. It was Cordelia, my lawyer friend. She created a response blog called The Real Story, where she posted, with my permission, bank statements showing I paid everything. Sienna's dating profiles from when we were together, the invoice she sent demanding $2,900, screenshots of her admitting to the lies. The comment section on Sienna's blog exploded. Girl, You tried to charge him for lying to your therapist? This is why real abuse victims don't get believed. Imagine being this entitled and then playing victim. Dr. Reeves deserves a medal for dealing with this. Sienna tried to delete everything, but the internet is forever. Someone had already archived it all. Final update. It's been 3 months now, and karma came for Sienna in ways I never expected. First, the blog disaster got back to her new job. Yeah, she finally got one, at a wellness center. They Googled her during the hiring process and found everything. They rescinded the offer, citing concerns about professional integrity. Then, her new therapist, the third one, dropped her as a patient after she tried the same lies, but forgot that therapists in the same city often know each other. Word had gotten around about a patient who was therapy shopping to find someone who would validate false narratives. But the ultimate consequence came from an unexpected source: Jasper's new girlfriend, Penelope. Penelope is a licensed clinical social worker. When she heard about what Sienna did, she was horrified. She also happened to know Dr. Reeves professionally. At a professional conference, Penelope mentioned the situation, no names, just the scenario, during a panel about therapeutic ethics. The story spread through the local therapy community as a cautionary tale. Sienna literally became an anonymous case study in When Patients Weaponize Therapy. Sienna found out and threatened to sue everyone. Dr. Reeves, Penelope, the conference organizers, even me for starting all this. Her lawyer, yes, she found one desperate enough to take her case, sent cease and desist letters to everyone. The response from the conference's legal team was beautiful. Your client's name was never mentioned. If she recognizes herself in an anonymized case study about therapeutic manipulation, that's rather telling. The lawyer dropped her as a client the next day. Last I heard from Ricardo, Sienna is living with them, but has to pay rent. She's working retail and hates it. She's banned from 3 therapy practices in our area. She tried to start another blog, but it got 0 traction. She told her parents I ruined her life at least once a day. Beatrice started charging her $5 every time she mentions my name. It's cut down the complaints significantly. The best part? Dr. Reeves sent me a professional thank you note through appropriate channels. While I cannot discuss specific cases, I want you to know that your commitment to truth and documentation has contributed to important discussions in our professional community about therapeutic integrity. Your approach was respectful and appropriate. As for me, I'm doing great. Started dating Quinn, a fellow nurse who thinks the whole story is wild, but appreciates that I keep receipts. We joke about going to couples therapy someday, with separate therapists who we'll be completely honest with. Sienna unblocked me last week to send one final message. I hope you're happy. You destroyed everything. I replied, I just told the truth. You destroyed everything. She blocked me again. My friends have a running joke now. Whenever someone complains about anything, Tobias goes, have you considered invoicing them for emotional damages? I hear the going rate is $20,900. To anyone dealing with someone who weaponizes therapy or mental health against you, document everything. The truth doesn't need elaborate stories or manipulated professionals. It just needs receipts. And to therapists dealing with clients like Sienna, thank you for your professionalism. Dr. Reeves could have easily just believed everything she was told, but she did her due diligence when presented with evidence. That's what good therapists do. Edit for those asking, no, I don't think all therapy is bad. Therapy is amazing when used honestly. The problem is when people use it as a weapon instead of a tool for growth. Edit 2. Stop asking for Sienna's blog link. It's been deleted, and I'm not contributing to her victim narrative by sending people to archived versions. Edit 3. Yes, this is legal to share. Everything I've posted is either my own documentation or public information. I haven't violated any confidentiality because I wasn't the patient. I was just a guy with receipts. Edit 4. Ricardo texted me that Sienna found this post and printed it out to show her new therapist as evidence of stalking. The therapist apparently asked, so you're saying all of this is false? Sienna couldn't answer. She's now therapist shopping again. Number 5. Here we come.